Shanti. Welcome back. So we will just start with few minutes of uh, creating some time for experience. Let's again put our spiritual glasses before we start the conversation. So anything that's comfortable, closing the eyes or keeping your eyes open. We allow ourselves to use the spiritual glasses. That I see myself as a guest in the physical world. Just like a guest who owns nothing, yet he is enthusiastic about everything. Same way, I, the invisible presence, using these spiritual glasses, this exact second is a gift, precious gift. Every second becomes precious. The same situation, same people. Now I can afford to be nice at all times. By nice, we don't mean nice at the level of words and actions, but as a guest, as an invisible presence. I can afford to have good feelings, see the goodness in everyone. Silence is precious, even sound is precious. For this invisible guest, everything is a special, precious gift. There is appreciation for absolutely every second. And I have no expectations. I don't own anything. And the master is naturally appreciative of everything. This entire body, I, the invisible presence, I am in the body, yet I use this body as a costume. I can take care of it. But there is no desperation for anything extra. I can look after it without owning it. Om Shanti. Yeah, so we can see that, just this is a this is not a small shift, but it's a big shift when we move from this victim or being a slave to actually being a master. And so it's not a slight difference, but it's a big difference. It's a huge difference. And as far as from from when we met last, does anyone remember what the homework was? What was the homework?
Not to have expectations.
Not to have expectations. So I think 3 days, not to have expectations. So what was your experience? 3 days.
Comes so naturally that it's first we expect and then we have to remind ourselves we don't have to expect because naturally in our surroundings we expect from each other, kids, partner, whatever. And so, but it was a reminder to take a step back and react without expectation.
Without expectations. Yes. What else? Yeah, no, sure.
I think pretty similar to what you said. I think in my case, she had to remind me what and
Yeah.
me reminding myself.
How was everyone's experience? Any other observations?
To expect more of the persons that will be near about it. Maybe husband, kids,
Yeah.
parents. Sort of take them for granted in some cases people do.
Yeah. Yes. And so more in close relationships, it's more natural. Yeah. It's natural. Yeah. What else?
You feel a bit lighter. Sometimes when you have expectation, it doesn't go according to your expectation, that it will give you like uncomfortableness for some period. But if you like, don't have expectation and you see that this time it was a little bit lighter between both of the, if we have expectations from other person, it becomes a bit lighter between both.
Okay.
Yeah.
I found that I ended up doing a lot by myself because you can't delegate to the kids. And then you just like, I'll just have to do it.
Okay. Any comments from online?
We got a couple of comments. Sometimes we have unnecessary expectations. And we also someone is saying, think so far life has given me a plenty of opportunities to not to expect anything from anyone. But thank you for saying it loud and it was a good reminder. We got one more comment, felt more peaceful and relaxed.
And so we were talking about our language, and language is very a good indicator of what we actually perceive as natural and normal. And whatever we tell ourselves and we use, and as a culture, as a society, whatever we call normal, natural, it just becomes normal and natural. And when we look from this spiritual perspective, so what's normal at the spiritual level? What's normal? When we, when I think of myself as a daughter, as a mother, then it's normal. For mother, it's normal that the child should be in a certain way. If I am a husband, then it's normal that my wife should, do such so and so. But if I'm a spiritual being and if I'm a guest, from that perspective, what's normal? It's normal not to own anything. It's normal for me to remember that I have an exit, because a guest means that, what we understand by a guest. I'll just is that okay? A guest, how do you define a guest? As we said, if someone comes to our place and we want to offer them the best, food, best hospitality, and we make sure everything's in the right place and everything's right, and we make sure what their requirements are, and we want to be the best host, in a way. And so the guests have arrived. We prepare everything, and it's Friday, and so we have a great time. Then it's Saturday, we go out, we visit some places, and it's Sunday. And as per our discussion, Sunday is the day that they have to leave, finally. And, they just say that, I think we can stay till Monday. What about Monday? And, you're also happy that, yes, kids are happy that we get to stay with our friends for one another day. And this goes on, and it's Friday again, and they haven't left. Will there be a difference in how hospitable you are? Oh, it's Friday, and now you're whispering to your wife, what is happening? Why are they not leaving? And so we are giving them hints, some sort of hints that it's Friday already, it's a week. But now you see there's no sign of them that they are planning to leave. They are completely home. Like we say, they're completely home. They use your car as their car. They you can see them, they are going to your wardrobe, opening it up, and treating as your clothes as their clothes. And everything changes. Everything changes. Our relationship, the way we want to host them, everything changes just by this simple thing that the guest has forgotten that he's a guest. And as soon as that happens, everything changes. Our respect, our relationship, our happiness. Because if someone's forgotten that they're a guest, then they have to be reminded. A good guest, the definition of a guest is that they know that they have an exit. They have that reminder that they have an exit. Even if people come to a certain country for 3 months or 6 months, as long as they remember that they are going to go after 6 months, they have to return, they have a return ticket, they have a return flight, then those 6 months and those 3 months or even a year, it is with a different attitude as compared to someone who has forgotten that they have to return after a year. And if someone has forgotten, then they have to be reminded. And it's like they approach the whole thing with a confused mind. They won't understand why they're being treated in such a way. Because it's obvious to us that you have forgotten that you were here only for 3 days. But for them, for someone who's confused, they don't understand, why am I being treated this way? Why is someone talking to me rudely? They don't understand. They are feeling that this is all mine. This car is mine, this home is mine, and they're telling all their friends, well, I have moved to Australia now, we live in Point Cook, it's the best place. And you're wondering, what is this, And we're actually waiting for them. Somehow you'll have to remind them. And this is the aspect that whenever we remind ourselves that we are this invisible guest here, in this physical world, then there is a shift in how we look at this minute, and how we look at the people that we are interacting with. It brings a completely new energy. It brings a new source of energy. There's no projections of the past. We may have some ideas of how this person is, how this situation is, but as a guest, all of that seems insignificant. That loses its value. Anything that's temporary isn't so much intensity or seriousness. Yes, and that's normal and natural for a guest. So every time I am shifting, I'm shifting this dynamics, I'm shifting this energy of what is natural, what is normal for me. And so we start from this position that expectations are absolutely normal. We cannot imagine, how can I not expect? but then for just a minute shifting into this, that this is normal. Even if it is, as we are emphasizing, this has to be just for 1 minute, 2 minutes, or 5 minutes. But whatever we do, whenever we shift, it has to be a complete shift. It can't be that I am a guest, but I am a mother as well. No, there is no but, there's no ifs and buts. When I am a guest for 5 minutes, we use concentration and we'll use this complete conviction. Being 100% convinced, just like right now, we are 100% convinced that I own this house. You know, so shifting that internally, bringing that shift. And every time, doing it for 5 minutes, 2 minutes, this has huge benefits. It has a huge benefit, and we'll know, what these benefits are. But before we move, is there any comments or any questions from last week or good? We'll use the right word. So this will make it things a bit easy. This is the physical world. This box is the physical world. And what all is included in this physical world? Any ideas on what is part of the physical world? Material things. Okay, so all our possessions are part of this physical world. What else? Relations. Yes, so all our relationships are in the physical world. Yeah. So relations as well. What else? So people, I think I'll just, so possession and people. So all the people are part of this physical world. What else?
Living and
Possession.
non-living,
Yes, living and
Soil.
non-living. Okay.
soil, water, sky,
Yeah.
fire
All
and
the
space,
elements are,
our body.
so all of that is part of the physical world. The matter, 5 elements, as we said, possessions, people, food, all type of food is part of this. So this is all part of, money, all of this. So our office, our home, everything is part of the physical world. And this physical world comes with some obvious, very obvious nature, like everything that we can name, absolutely everything that has a name has a nature, like fire. It has a inherent original nature. Light, everything that we can name has a nature. So when we talk about the physical world, represented by this box, it has a obvious nature. So what is the nature of the physical world? It is temporary. Yes, it is temporary, which means that everything in this physical world, why do we say it's temporary? Because it has a beginning. Everything has a beginning and then it has an end. So everything starts and it ends. Yeah? So that is why we say that it's temporary. Yeah? What else? If, everything is temporary and it's going to begin and it's going to end, then it means that it's also going to change, because it's always evolving, to a certain end, and then that's like a cycle. So everything keeps changing. And if everything is going to keep change, then what happens is that things that we see, it's also going to be unpredictable. So the traffic, the weather, everything is changing. We can't have the government, the policies, everything is constantly changing. Whatever we see, it is temporary. It can be there for 1 year, 5 years, 6 years, but then it's going to change. Somehow it's going to, every position, every relationships as well. If we look at everything inside this physical world, it is governed by, as if ruled by these 3 laws. No, these are the 3 laws. If I create an expectation with anything that is under the spell, no, it is under the law that it is unpredictable, it is going to change because it starts and it's going to end as well. If I create an attachment or expectation with that, so first thing that happens is an expectation. Yes, I just create an expectation. So there's a tree outside, our house, and I just have this expectation that this tree should never be cut. It should stay as it is. So that's an expectation, because I've seen it for 20 years, and so that's my expectation that it should be, like that. And what happens if, as per these 3 laws, what can happen to this tree?
It can fall and bring some actually.
Yes, it can fall. And so if there is an expectation, then what do I get as a result of that expectation? Disappointment. Yes. So every expectation, yes, this is like a rule. You have to remember this, thumb rule. Every expectation ends in disappointment. Every expectation. There's no expectation that will end up in a happy, because if I have this expectation, I get this job. Okay. So I get that job, I'm happy. But then there's that, because that expectation is there, there's subconsciously there's always some sort of want. This shouldn't happen or this should happen. Whenever there's an expectation, there's a very clear, not so clear, but there's some sort of understanding or demand that this should happen and this shouldn't happen. We are very stubborn on what should happen and what should not. So expectation means, I just, we say this is very basic expectation, do your homework, or, put things this way. Basic. For us, it's very, common. This is simple, this not even comes across as a huge expectation. But with this expectation, what happens, we very innocently, we don't know, but very innocently we just have an expectation. But behind that expectation comes very strong, stubborn rules. This should happen and this shouldn't happen. And it's as if that we're not going to compromise. And every expectation will end up in disappointment. And with disappointment, we put ourselves in a position of receiving sorrow, receiving hurt or sorrow, and that too for free. Absolutely free of cost. So free of cost sorrow. So if you want free of cost sorrow, then create expectations. Yeah, because create expectations from something or someone who is under this law of unpredictability and change. Someone, my best friend has the best intentions, and they say to me, I will never tell this, Ananya, you can trust me with this. I'll never tell this to anyone. And they also have a best friend. So they tell them and they say, never tell this to anyone. So Ananya did this and never tell them. So best intentions, but it is one thing that we all are looking in this box. A guest who has forgotten he's a guest. Okay? So a guest who is very aware that he is visiting this place. He's visiting. So he naturally has no expectation. He's visiting. If you give him a bed that is not his, best type of bed, best choice, he will adjust, because in back of his mind, exit is very clear. Back of his mind, exit is very, very clear. So this point of that I have to exit, I have to return will make him adjust, will make him take things very lightly, will make him tolerate things, and it doesn't even come across as that I'm tolerating this. He is in the happiness of that he has to return to his home. So because there is this subconscious reminder that I have to return, everything seems quite insignificant, small, not a big deal. But for a guest who has completely forgotten that he is a guest, what will he look for when he is visiting? He doesn't even know he's visiting. If he doesn't know that he's visiting, then what does this physical world become for him? With his perspective, what is this physical world? Yeah. Sorry, what's that? Home. Sorry, we'll come to that.
Yeah.
One word, one word for someone. So basic first step, if we look at what's happening psychologically, what all is happening. First thing is that I get confused. First thing is I get confused of who am I here. So that's the confusion that kicks in. So I am convinced that I am a manager. Yeah. So that is the confusion. Now confusion has started. Now I'm confused that who am I? So a guest is clear that he's a guest. Host is clear that he's a host. Now the guest is completely confused and he's thinking he's a manager here. No? There is a guest who's visiting and I ask him for 2 hours, can you give this, this rice? Can you distribute rice to everyone? And while distributing rice for 2 hours, he is feeling that I made this rice, I cooked this rice, and I'm the host of this party. No? Now he's confused. After this confusion, everything else is going to be different. No? Every situation appears different, every person will appear different. So with confusion, first confusion, after that, what happens is I start to think of this physical world where I just came in as a guest and somebody asked me, take care of this rice and whoever wants, give them the rice. And so I'm giving rice and I'm thinking I'm such a great person. I'm such a donor, I'm such a big charity person. I should be printed on the newspapers. And I am the one who's giving rice to everyone for free. And so I should have a picture in the newspaper. So with confusion, this becomes my home. No? I'm not visiting here. Now I own this place. Now I own this place or the people, whoever is involved, the subconscious attitude shifts to I own everything. Yeah. And now, outer actions are quite simple. Someone, two people distributing rice in some sort of free event, free lunch is happening, and two people are distributing rice. But one is completely, he remembers that he is here for 3 hours and after that he will leave. And one has forgotten that he is here for 3 hours, just this is one of the tasks that he is doing. And so for him, both have a different attitude now, different mentality. Now, when there is confusion, then because of this confusion, I have the expectation. So for me to expect, I should think of something that I should be convinced that I own it. Yeah. And so someone who's confused is quite convinced that I own this. So that's why there is an expectation. I own these people, I own this task, this is my project. I'm very convinced. That's why I can have an expectation. Yeah. Whenever there is an expectation, then subconsciously, if I have an expectation that this tree, should always remain the way it is. Subconsciously, what do you think my emotions will be? Every day I wake up. Every day I wake up. There's uncertainty. There is some sort of, so I have this expectation from my partner. Every day I ask them, can you guarantee you're going to stay with me? Can you guarantee? And they say, yes, I guarantee. Best intentions. And so, but again, I ask them, can you guarantee? Yeah. So with expectation, what comes in is insecurity. subconsciously insecure. And so if I'm insecure, what is the next step? If someone is feeling insecure, I'm holding very tightly onto this toy. You know, I got into this childcare kindergarten, and a child, he knows that he has to leave after 3 hours. You know, but he wants to convince that he is going to stay here. And so he takes a toy, holds on to it, and so he's not playing with the toy because he's fearful that someone else will play with his toy. So he has to hold on to it, and he has to be serious. Yeah. So he cannot enjoy, he cannot play, he has to hold on to it. And he's holding on to it, and everything appears to be somehow, coming to take away this toy from me. So every child who is laughing, it seems like, they are planning something to take my toy. So a child who is crying, I feel, they might take my toy, the teacher will say, give your toy to make them happy. So with insecurity, if I'm insecure, then what happens is naturally so with insecurity, there is a tendency to feel secured. So I want to feel safe. And so because I want to feel safe, but I'm confused, my first position is of confusion. I create more expectations. Yeah, so more expectations to feel safe. So if I have one friend, now I want someone else. Now I want someone else to, understand me, look after me. And so with expectation and insecurity, there comes more expectations, more reasons to expect and be insecure. And this increases, magnifies this feeling of emptiness. And subconsciously, there is always, what we said, panic and fear. Panic and fear is ruling our decisions, is ruling our actions, is ruling our intentions. Yeah. Every constructive thought that I have, I should do this course, I should study this, I should buy a house, in this place. It is ruled by some sort of fear and panic of more, something. Because with insecurity, what happens is this attitude of more will make me feel safe. So not one, but two. And then with two, there is more insecurity, more fear. And so now I'm thinking three will make me. So it is like that: confusion, expectation, insecurity, emptiness, panic, fear, and then this attitude of more. And eventually, this all ends up, everything ends up in misery and sorrow. You know, this entire cycle where I am confused, this I is confused, then this is the whole pattern of what's happening internally in our psychology. This is what is happening. Yeah? So for me to um, change this dynamics, we have to have a very clear understanding of who I am. Yeah? That is from where everything will start. We can maybe close this door if you want. That's it. Yeah. So
How do you differentiate between positive thinking and expectations? So say, someone's looking for a job. Yeah, I don't have an expectation that I'll get the job, but then at the same time, I'm trying to think positive. They talk about positive manifestations, believe in yourself, and
yeah.
and that you will achieve what you. So there's a fine line between that expectation and positive thinking.
Yeah.
So how do you differentiate between the two?
No, with okay, we should also write, with fear and panic. This is like a negative mind.
Mm.
So when my position is, of confusion, then as we said, like when we practiced having no expectation, it's very natural to have an expectation, and then we remind ourselves, then we sort of become conscious. Because what happens is that conviction, that confusion is there, and it's going to be there for some time. And that's why positive thinking, it's like sort of superficial. It just comes in, but then with that positive, we'll notice that whenever there is, we may think that there's no expectation, but with that sort of positive thinking, there is a story that's happening. What if this doesn't happen? And all sort of scenarios, negative scenarios, with a positive thinking, which is happening from this confused mind. There is this imagination of all the things that can go wrong that also go parallelly. Do you notice like positive thought and imagination, negative imagination going together?
Well, I guess you try and think positive, but then you also say to yourself,
Yeah.
what's the worst that could happen?
Yeah. Yeah. And that's, and that, so there's a fine line between when I am a guest, this attitude of a guest, I am prepared for the worst, but I'm not thinking of the worst, but I'm very prepared, like nothing can be serious. So the worst possibility is in front of me and it's not bothering me. So the worst possibility, I don't get a job. All my life I don't get a job. But it still doesn't seem as it's going to, it's of a big problem. But with that, I think what's the word you use? That, yeah, you're thinking worst,
Manifestation.
worst case scenario. But there's one thing to be prepared for it. What we're saying is, as a guest is prepared. When you're, going on an adventure, sometimes, people love guests, they love scuba diving and, snorkeling and all sorts of these adventurous, risky things. And people sign those documents where it says, you can even die. Yet they do it, they sign it. They're prepared, you're prepared, but your whole attitude and your whole mindset is of fun. It's fun. So you're prepared, you're laughing, we can even die. And your friends are, pulling each other, you will die, I will die. But there's this whole energy is of fun. So it's about the energy. It's about that energy. So when I remember my exit, I am prepared for the worst. And with this confusion, I am just thinking of the worst situations, but I have no preparation. And everything appears like it's going to fall down and something worse. I'm not prepared, because this world is my world, is my home. There is nothing more than this. So this is my home. So I can think of the worst case scenarios, but I have no preparation because this is my home. That's the confusion here. That's the confusion. And so if I look at a chair and I understand that it's a chair, then I can use it as a chair. But if I look at a chair and I think this is a table, then I'm going to use it as a table. And I'm going to be very frustrated about why, I'll try to sleep on it and it's not working, it's too small. And so that's the whole confusion. If I look at as a temporary residence here, then it's all great, whatever happens. But if this is my home, then if I don't get a job, it's a big deal. If my child is not happy with me, it's a big situation for confusion. So I think we'll discuss more, and maybe it will make more sense after we look at the different mindsets. So first is the confused, that this is the mind of confusion. And in other words, we can call this mind, as a beggar, slave, also a victim. So there is an expectation, and it is not fulfilled, then I am sad. I have an expectation that I should get the job, but my best friend gets it, then I have an expectation I should be the topper in this exam, but my best friend is the topper. So what happens? There's jealousy. Yeah. Now I have an expectation that, I should get this job, but for some reason, there's pandemic and everything's shut down, the company is shutting down, and there's no real person to sort of blame. I can't see there's any person to blame. Then it sort of becomes, this expectation not being fulfilled, and I can't find someone to blame. So if there is an expectation that I should get the job, but I find a reason to blame. The manager was from Africa, and I have a reasoning for why I didn't get the job. This is blame, energy of blame. But if I have no reason to blame anyone, then what happens with this expectation? Because every expectation is like an arrow. It's an energy. It's a very like desperate energy. Expectation is like, I want it now and I can't survive without it. My survival depends on it. So it's an energy, and it's a very disturbing energy. It's like desperate, desperate for something. And so if this, you cannot find any reason to blame, then what happens with this desperation? If I blame it on someone, then it's fine. It can take the form of anger. Blame can become anger. You can be angry with that person. But if I cannot blame anyone, and I still have expectations, what happens then?
Frustration.
Frustration, yeah. Disappointed with ourselves, and this becomes depression. This is when this desperate energy, there's no outlet, then every time it's coming inside. I can't find a reason, and eventually I'll start finding the reason something's wrong with me and my life, and this, it becomes depression. Yeah. So everything, anxiety, panic, all of this happens here. All of this is happening somewhere here. The seed is expectation, and with that seed, these are different friends of expectation. So everything comes with its friends. Seed comes with its fruit. So these are the fruits. In psychology, it is called as sad, bad, mad. All these emotions, you can put it as sad, bad, mad. So whenever there's an expectation, either I'm sad, either I'm mad, either something is bad, someone is bad. So those sort of energy that I am, that's how I define life. That is how life is that is how life is looking, appearing, seeming as. And now, what's the other mindset? You can say someone who is clear. So I'll draw this our image as a star. So this star, I'm clear that I'm a guest in this world. I'm clear. What happens then? This is clarity. Clarity. You're very clear. You have clarity that I'm going to India for 2 months, and you're clear. And what happens when there is clarity? You're not confused anymore. There is acceptance. When I have clarity that I'm a guest, I don't own anyone, I don't own anything, I'm just visiting. Then there is acceptance for someone's behavior, for everything. And it's not a passive, acceptance. Acceptance seems like a bit boring, but there is, from the eyes of a guest, someone who's very clear that I'm visiting this place. Everything is an art, and everything is a reason to appreciate. In other words, acceptance, in other words, actually means appreciation. Acceptance is not I accept, I accept. It's not a boring, it's not a dull, it's not a dull energy. It comes with this vibrant energy of appreciation. So everything, it's just quite appreciative of the body, how it is, of how people, how they are, how they're behaving. It's natural appreciation. And where there is clarity, actually, I think first thing is before acceptance, you feel, because now you have clarity, you feel secured. You are secured even here. Yeah. So this is the first step, and this is the second step. Sorry, and this is the third. So when I'm confused, first you have to be insecure now. If I'm confused who I am, now if I feel that I am a manager, then I have to be, there has to be natural insecurity that I have to be better at this, and this manager, everything appears as a threat, and because of this insecurity, there's expectation. And same way, when there is clarity, I am very clear that I'm just visiting this place, I have a home, then there is security, absolutely secured, absolutely safe. I feel safe. A child going to school, he knows he's there for 8 hours. Many things can happen there, but you're not living there, even in office. So you're not living there. So there's that security. I can go back to my home anytime. So because of that secured energy, that safety, there is acceptance, there appreciation, and only one who is feeling safe, only someone who feels secure, only they can love, only they can care. Wherever there is insecurity, love and care cannot be present there.
Even if you are on the acceptance stage, how
Yeah.
do you deal with rejection?
Dealing with rejection, it's the first step. Step, if it's all about the first step. If we are going somewhere in the morning, what's the first step? You enter, you sit in your car. What's the first step? You're traveling somewhere,
You know your destination.
know the destination, and then what do we do? What do you do really every morning if you were to go to work? GPS, you put the destination. First, I have to know the destination, and I, type that on my GPS, Google Maps, and you start. And what if that first step, I've put the wrong destination? Then I can be driving, everything is the same, but because the first step is absolutely based on something wrong, then every other step is is a bigger problem. Because with every step, I am moving away from my destination. So I am still driving, I am still on the road, but I'm moving away from my destination. Yeah. So rejection, it's not a topic of how to handle rejection, but if I am clear on who I am here, in this situation, who am I? If that's clear, then every other step is not that big of a problem. So with secured mindset, only a secured mindset can actually care, love. There is concentration. There is creativity. I can come up with, creative solutions, because this aspect of, feeling quite threatened. So this is like a whole different game. If there is, I know you have to leave, but one thing that what happens in this confusion, I think I'll write on the next page. There can be, one problem in life, one troublesome person, one, just a tricky situation that I'm dealing with, and 10 other things are, good. Yeah, normal. Okay. So with that confused mindset or insecurity, whole, every thought and every feeling and every emotion revolves around this. Because where there is insecurity, everything appears as a danger, threat. There is, people situation, every party, it seems like a threat. Subconsciously, the mind is operating on a different tangent. And, it looks as if, there is a threat. You can give a compliment and it becomes as if you're attacking me. You can say something nice, you can offer help. Sometimes you can offer help. Can I help you with this? And that also seems like, are you saying I can't do this? It just everything becomes a different meaning, different perception altogether where there is insecurity. And completely different situation with where there is security. When there is security, there can be 10 problems, 10 people who are after you, 10 people who are not, giving you a hard time. And there is this one, naturally, it's just how the mind is working. It just gravitates towards what is good, there's just naturally, it's as if you can't help but focus on what's working, what is the good thing in life. And same way with insecurity, you can't help but problem seems the main thing. It's just like to everyone else it'll appear so obvious, but for the one it just doesn't seem. It just even the one who's talking sense seems like you're again a problem. So it's just a mindset shift. Everything is about situations, people, outer situations. Everything is the same. Just mind has to shift. Mindset has to shift, and it's just like naturally gravitates towards light, gravitates towards um, what is working right, what's good, what's the reason to appreciate. There are reasons, that's the kind of mind it is. So where there is clarity of who I am, just like as a guest, we've all been guests, in within this box, small places within this box, we have been guests. But now this whole everything that we think, talk about, every place that we visit, it is part of the physical world. And for the guest, this is not the home. No, this is not the home. And we'll find out, what different perspectives for this box. But if I am very clear that this is not my home, this place right now where we are sitting in, for someone this is a home and for someone it's not. And so if that first step is clear, then everything else that follows is very clear. No expectations, no reason to feel desperate, no reason to feel insecure. There's no reason to get jealous. There's no reason to, create fear. And with clarity, no reason to take sorrow for free. Uh, it feels absurd that why am I expecting? That sort of inquiry is there. What makes me expect? What is making me expect? And with a confused mindset, it's a different inquiry. How can I accept this? That sort of, but we're shifting. We have to gradually shift. And this shift will just happen as we said, seed brings its fruit. Seed will bring its fruit. One expectation, it can go into extremes. A simple expectation, eat your food on time. A simple expectation, it can take extreme forms, if not fulfilled. Yeah? It can become a reason for why people are separating. As simple, it can become anything we cannot control. With expectation, it brings its fruits. Same way, with a secured mindset, it will bring all the fruits of love, care, concentration, appreciation, all the fruits. So it's about sowing the right seeds. It is all about sowing the right seeds. Seed will bring its fruits. So we don't have to, when we look at this chart and we see there is anger, there is desperation, there is misery, there's panic, and so much. But the whole thing is that I just need to plant the seed, the right seed. There's a story about two wolves, and someone, someone is an old man. He's talking to his grandson, and he's talking about there are two wolves, in each one of our minds, and they're always fighting. So these two wolves, they're always fighting inside the mind. And this grandson, he asks, but which wolf, wins at the end of the day? Which wolf wins? And so which one do you think wins? There's one evil, wolf, the dark one, and there's a good one. So the good and the bad, they are fighting. Insecurity and this security, this confusion and clarity, that's fighting. I'm saying that yes, I'm a guest, but then there's this big confusion. But how will I manage this? And how this is fighting. Which one will win?
It's stronger.
Whichever is stronger. Yeah. And what makes it stronger? How do these wolves become strong?
Whichever one is fed better.
Fed better, the one I feed is going to win. If I feel, talk to me nicely, give me some love, and sometimes, understand me. I'm not saying appreciate me, but acknowledge me. So if I keep feeding this beggar, this will grow. And so once it grows, then it's impossible for this acceptance to win, to not have expectations. But if I feed this, in situations, if I just feed this wolf, if I plant this seed, or we should say that, if we water this seed, seeds are already there. The secured seed and the insecure seed, they are already there. But whichever one I water will show its fruits in my life. And so right now, for a long time, we may have been watering poor me, my life, this way things have, I've always been so nice to people. People have always taken me for granted. People have always taken advantage of me. Now we are feeding this thought by thought. And so it has its fruits. Fruits are there's blame, there is anger, there is emptiness, there is a feeling that I do so much and I get so less in return. And so all those feelings are there. All that we have to do now is just water this seed, feed this wolf. For some time, fruits still come because in a day, we don't expect that in a day this will start giving fruits. This one, this other tree of insecurity, if I don't water it for a week, let's say for 7 days, I do not water this, mentality of expecting people should be this way. I demand respect, whatever. I don't expect this. I don't feed this. Then I'll see that these fruits keep dropping. There is jealousy, there is anger, but I'm not feeding it. Fruits come, they're on the ground, nobody's picking them up. After a time, these fruits start, so it's a gradual shift. So we can very easily opt, choose. It's all about choosing. We always have the option. So we can choose this to feed, you know, to feed or water these seeds. I don't want anything. I do not need anything. If people are, if I give a suggestion and it's taken, it's good, but I don't need them to be this way. The way I talk to myself, that's important. Do I need? No, do I need? No, I don't need. If it's there, it's great. If it's not, then it's okay. Yeah. So, yeah, so we'd just like to hear from all of you. What are your immediate thoughts? So is there any insecurity here? Anyone who's sitting here? Yeah. Is there any insecurity? Each 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 expectation that we create, because of feeling insecure and because of being confused of who I am. So there is an idea of who I am, you know. So if there is an idea that I am this, you know, mother-in-law, I have this idea I am this, I am mother-in-law. And so now there is some sort of insecurity. Then I have to, you know, have my son should be this way, and I should have a, you know, some idea, some insecurity will come along with that image that I have. And with that idea, there will be expectations. Yeah. And this image that I have of I am this and that, that is ego. You know, ego means it's a false image. It's a false idea, false identity, false identity. And so false identities can be many, you know, false ideas can be many based on this, based on people here, based on the possession here, based on how good I cook pasta. There can be many ideas, many ideas of who I am. No? And if there is an idea, if there is an ego, so I can cook, you know, the best food, but how do I know if this is an ego or not? How do I know? How do I find out if I'm confused or not?
You expect people to like it, then
Yeah. And so I made pasta, everyone's eating it, not saying a word, you know. And then, you know, after 15 minutes, someone says, no, the chili flakes were sort of, I think they were expired. Why did you put those chili flakes? No, and everyone, and then they go for a second serving. You know, they take another bowl of pasta, and you're just looking at them. So they give you extra, you know, recipe on how to cook pasta next time. They're still taking a second serve, but giving you a, you know, after eating, they're telling you, you know, if you add this and that, then it's better, tastes better. Yeah. And so if I get hurt by that, then there is an ego. There's an idea that I am this. Yeah. There's a clear idea that I am a great, you know, I'm some. So with every ego, there comes a bowl, you know, there comes a bowl naturally. So I am a good driver, then a bowl is, you know, with me. So a bowl, imaginary, you know, invisible bowl comes, and we are expecting, you know, people to put something in it, you know, put some nice, wow, so good. Yeah. And this is the shift, the inner shift that happens, that every time we sit for 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, and feed this real, you know, real self. I am not, you know, making pasta, not a manager. I'm this invisible presence. I'm this invisible presence visiting. And just for 2 minutes, you know, just for 2 minutes, I feed this. The whole game changes. You know, same people, same chair, same, you know, faces. Everything changes. The whole idea, perspective changes, because now there is no false idea. Ego is not ruling. No, I'm clear. So for 2 minutes, if I do this, whole shift happens from, you know, like as we said, from this asking for, you know, begging for something, to actually accepting, complete acceptance. No need. I don't need anything. No, I don't need anything. And whatever I'm getting, it is like such a, you know, you feel like appreciating that. So I made pasta, and I got a, you know, after eating two serves, someone is giving me advice on how to cook pasta. It just feels like so nice, you know, so and not artificially. You really feel that, you know, they took this time to give special recommendations and suggestions. So nice of them. That is what is the feeling inside the mind. That is what is registered inside the mind. That is the, so if you ask, you know, how's life? That is what, you know, that's how life is to me. There is reasons to appreciate, and not by hard work, and not because I have to, but just feeding the real me, this invisible, ageless, genderless, this invisible presence. And in this terms of the physical world, this guest. So the guest can afford to, he can appreciate anyone, everyone. You know, a guest has no preferences. Yeah. So whoever is new in the town or office, everyone tries to make them in their team. Because they come with no biasness. So people feel that, if he's on my team, if I can convince him, so um, people go after the one who's new, fresh, has no previous ideas of how people are. So with this clarity, there is this safety. Yeah. And because of feeding this again and again, that I'm secured, I'm safe, I do not need anything from this physical world. Because I'm a non-physical being, just doing it for 2 minutes, allowing myself to do it for 2 minutes, yeah, is a big shift. Big shift. We're not saying, do it all the time, but 2 minutes with 100% conviction, 100% conviction that I am a guest and I do not need. After 2 minutes, you can say, I need this, I need a job, I need, this and that. But for 2 minutes, I don't need anything. We can do it for 2 minutes, right? 2 minutes, it can be done. And we're not saying 24 hours, just 2 minutes. So 2 minutes, how many times a day? In these 2 minutes, what happens is we don't realize all the ego that we have created, it is naturally dissolved. Because 100%, if you do it 100% convinced that I do not need it, I don't need, then why do we not need? You're saying, I don't need anything. But something says, but no, I have to have, kids has to be this way and boss has to be this way. What are you going to tell yourself? What do you tell yourself when there's a voice, strong voice that says, no, you need it? What do you say? Yeah,
It's okay. No, you don't need it.
you don't need it. And why you don't need it? Yeah. First, one reason is because I'm a guest here. You know, I can't have it. First of all, I can't have it, and I don't need it. I think first thing is I don't need it because this is not my home. This is not my home. Even the place that I call home, it's not home. If it's under these three laws, then it's not home. If it's going to be, if it's changing, if it's unpredictable, it's not home. Yeah? Home is separate. We'll talk about the home. But 2 minutes, 100% convinced, all different egos, will dissolve in these 2 minutes. And so this 2 minute is like what we say, meditation. It's like a strong medicine. It's a very strong medicine. So, the doctor is saying that 10 tablets every day, 10 tablets of 2 minute dose. Yeah. So 10 times you can have it because this this disease is different. This doesn't need chemotherapy, but it needs 10 tablets. Yeah. So every day, and each tablet is of 2 minutes. Yeah? And feeding this secured mindset, feeding this secured mentality. It doesn't matter someone is taking the credit. It doesn't matter someone is spreading rumors. Doesn't matter this is happening, that's happening. What will happen? Yeah? What is the end result of it? People will believe it. They will look at it. Just my life and my experience of life is 100% in my hand. It's independent of what someone is spreading, what someone is thinking, what someone is saying. It's independent. My life, because life is whatever happens in this box, this box. Is this life inside this box? Is there life inside this box?
So part of it.
It's a part of life. And so when we ask each other, how's life? Or how's your day? How's life means, how's your day means how you are, right? How's your day? Now, how's your day been? How are you? And so, how do you answer this? How are you? Good. Yeah, that's true. Good. How else? What else do you answer? How are you?
It depends who's asking.
Depends who's asking. Okay, if it's someone close, 100% your closest.
Yeah, I mean, if I've had a frustrating day, I'll say I've had a frustrating day.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes. And so if there was traffic at, work while you were traveling to work, then how was the day? 100% how was the day?
Tiring.
Tiring. Yeah. And so when we talk about our day, how am I? How are you? Let's look at this thing. How are you? How's your life? Or how was your day? You know, they all mean the same. Eventually, how are you? How do you feel? And so we start talking about, well, today I was working from home, so it was good. But it just, with kids, it was like that. So how are you and how's life? We are talking about how's the life situations, how situations were today. You know? And so in reply, we start talking about situations, that because I was working from home, it was good, or because I went to office today, and the other person will say, oh my God, I today you went to work, I can imagine. So no need to tell how are you. I already know how you are, because how you are, we understand it's completely dependent on how situations were. No? So we say that, no, today it was a sunny day. Yeah, so it was good day. Yeah, good for you. Yeah, we say good day, so good for you. Because you are completely dependent on how the day is. Yeah. And so when someone asks, how are you? We don't need to start explaining what happened today. No? Because with that, we can notice that how I feel is completely based on how my day was. And so if, you know, boss decided to give a new project and there's raining, and the train's not working, then naturally my day was bad, and that's what my experience is. And so that necessary is not the equation. How you are is not dependent on how the day was, how the situations were, how the people are in your life. It completely depends on, are you operating from a secured mind, or you're operating from an insecure mind? Is this a ego-based life, or it's a, based on, based on clarity? So it's only a matter of how I feel is completely a matter of, am I safe? Do I remember that I'm just visiting here? Or I am, trapped in this idea. So this whole thing, this is a web. No? This is a spider's web. Once you're confused, there's insecurity, expectation, and then inviting this whole lot of emotions. This is a web. Have you ever seen a web? Spider's web? Actually, have you seen it? Yeah. And how does it look? Isn't it so detailed and so beautiful? Yeah. And so spider's web is quite beautiful, only if you're outside of it. Yeah? If you're in it, then it's the worst, nightmare. Because if you're trapped in it, it's so detailed. So looking at all of this ego, but you're looking at from outside, then it's quite good. Yeah, you can see within yourself, the ego thoughts, and you can see where you're becoming a victim, where you're becoming a slave. If you can see that, it's great. The whole thing becomes funny. It becomes quite playful. So we are talking about this, in summary, with insecurity, whole life is intense, intense life, serious, not just outside, but everything is quite serious. And this whole with clarity, whole feeling is quite playful. The energy is of fun. Everything is fun. You're driving today, you're going to work, it's fun. You're staying at home, it's fun. It's just Fun means every time you have a new energy, new energy. And where there is no source of new energy, it just things keep piling up on each other and it keeps becoming intense, intense, intense. But if it's like every time, ego is taking over and you take this tablet, yeah, you take one tablet, there's new influx of energy. Again, it becomes fun. But after an hour, still ego is now showing you all the worst things that can happen and blaming someone. And ego has suddenly remembered, 5 years ago, your friend on my anniversary said this and now is upset. So all this, you can see all of that. If I can see it, then it's okay. But if I get trapped in it, if I get trapped in it, how do I get trapped in it? I start feeding it. I start dwelling on it. I start taking, those thoughts rather than looking at them. I start saying, I am thinking this, I am feeling this, and now I am just feeding this whole department of intensity, expectations, and sad, bad, mad. Yeah. So our, very clear um, program for next 24 hours, till we meet 6 p.m. tomorrow, is to take 10 tablets, 2 minutes each. Just 10 tablets, starting from now to 2 p.m., 10 tablets, and looking at, we'll do a bit of meditation, but looking at this whole thing as something extra, when you're visiting, this whole experience is an extra thing. It's not your home, and so it's not the main thing. Yeah, you're visiting, someone gives you food, someone doesn't give you food, that's okay, it's a side, it's not that important. And everything becomes insignificant. And so um, from the traveler's eyes, guest's eyes, I'm looking at people, situation, and it's all so, it's the art of making it small. You Nothing is going to harm me. For some people, a dog is quite threatening. They fear from that dog, and even if it's a cute looking puppy, they're still so scared of it. Why they are scared of it? Because internally there is this understanding that it can hurt me, it can harm me. Yeah. But if I am visiting here, nothing can harm me. Yeah, nothing can harm me. If this is not my home, it's not my place, it's not my world, then nothing can harm me. And so everything is friendly. Situations, people, they're not here to threaten me. I don't feel I'm being attacked. Yeah. When there is insecurity, we also take offense easily. Very easily offended. So spiritually, someone who's secure, they are very good at taking jokes. They're very good at taking jokes. We don't say that, go and make fun of people, but it's just about us to be able to take the biggest of jokes lightly. Take things lightly. So this tablet will make us do that. A lot of friends. So there's lightness, because everything is like so, it's a joke, something to laugh about. And so having this just 10 tablets just in next 24 hours. And when we take each tablet, every time we sit for 2 minutes or we just close our eyes and create that experience, again, the attitude is of fun, playfully doing that. It's a fun activity. It's not a serious, I have to do it and then see the results. We're not doing it for any results. Just play with the idea. Let me write this, you know, playing with this idea. Play with this idea that I'm a guest. What if I'm a guest? So I'm a guest, I'm visiting here. Um, this is not my place, this is not my world, I'm just visiting here. It's a temporary residence, be it office, be it this, and play with these ideas. Just playing with it. So any questions from you? No? Do you have any questions?
Just a quick question. So when we don't have expectation, when we say, or any attachment, because we are faced here, so how do we how do we manage our own skills or own group, like hobbies or interests or those type of things? Should we not attach to those as well? Like,
Yeah,
should
we can, as we said, we can use everything. We can use our hobbies and everything, but we don't need to own them. Owning them means that I define myself by this habit, this hobby, this art. So I can use everything. Just like when we at work, we are using absolutely everything, but we don't own anything. So it's the same attitude. So what sort of hobby or
No, like as you said before that when we make pasta, like if you think like you made a really good pasta, you don't expect from others that they said it's good
Yeah.
pasta, but if you feel that you made good pasta, it's the normal thing.
yeah.
Like it's
That's
not something you don't need to expect from yourself to
Yeah.
make things good or like.
yeah. Yes. When we talk about, this wherever there is security, there is appreciation. Even the things that I can do, in the role of a mother, in the role of a friend, we have appreciation for that as well, because that same energy for everything. It's not that with ego it happens either I appreciate this more and I'm critical of everyone else, or I'm critical of my things so much that I find everyone else is so nice but I can't do this, I can't cook well. So there is this imbalance in that security. I'm very happy, the pasta, I'm enjoying it. And so someone else says something or they don't say, there's no reason
you
to get
don't
offended.
by it, but you feel happy for yourself. It's
Yeah.
not ego, yeah.
It's not ego.
Something else.
It's not.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's appreciation.
Yeah.
That you're able to express this. You're a visitor here and you've explored something, you've discovered something. It's like a discovery. Such a great thing. So it's a great thing.
This topic, I do have a question. Sometimes we also appreciate our kids, that they're doing a great job.
Yeah.
And then also, like, with their grandparents say something, say thank you. And,
Yeah.
like, should we not teach that sort of thing as well? Or because
To like when they do something and someone else appreciates that.
yes, so like it's really hard to not teach a young child like you should not like, expect it rather than, or you should also, most of the times our default is like teaching them to be polite, appreciate it. So we sort of, our upbringing is in such a way that if someone doesn't appreciate it, it's, no, it's not right. So,
Yeah.
yeah, so how,
Yeah, being mindful of that, being mindful of that as well. That we teach others to appreciate. We can teach our kids to appreciate, say thank you, and all that. And that's just instilling that mindset. That it's more about this mindset, to not get jealous, and wherever you see that there's something good, you can feel free to appreciate. And so that's a good thing. But having that, teaching that programming, that if you are being appreciated, only then you are valuable, then that's a different thing. So we teach other, someone who um, appreciates others shouldn't be like in a secured mindset. They are not wanting appreciation. Someone who's very secure, they feel they can appreciate everyone, but they don't want that in return. But when there is insecurity, we want so much appreciation, and we also cannot appreciate, because we feel if I start appreciating them, they'll sit on my head and they'll start being bossy. And so whatever I want, I don't want to give it out. No, so I want is, someone to say good morning to me. I want someone to be nice to me, but I won't start that. I won't do that because it's too risky. It's ego. And we can teach, someone to be appreciative, appreciate others. But with that, we have to teach them to be, know the self and be confident in the self. Only then they can appreciate. No? But not this programming that only if you're appreciated, that's when you are valued. In fact, the one who appreciates, they are valuable. Only the one who is valuable, they can appreciate. No? Someone who hasn't discovered their value, they cannot appreciate. In fact, they want appreciation because they want to be valued. So it's a different programming. So, so let's sit for just few minutes. Everything in this world is visible. Absolutely everything that I can see is part of the physical world. And the real self, the real me, is invisible. It cannot be seen. And this invisible presence is actually life. This is the place where all the life is happening, where everything comes to life. Life is not in situations, it's how I see situations. Life is not what's happening on the road, what's someone said, how someone behaved, but how I see it, how I feel it, how I experience. My experience is life. My experience is my life. And so there's a nice trick to completely create a life of absolute peace, of absolute happiness, joy, bliss, power, life of contentment, life of 100% clarity, joy, stability. This creation of life is 100% independent from the situations, from the words and actions and behavior and thought processes that are outside. This invisible presence, a tiny star, just like I'm visiting this room, this place. I'm visiting this entire world. I have a very clear and very 100% guaranteed exit of this visit. Everything in between, office, work, children, partner, in-laws, friends, family, have a clear exit, guaranteed exit. With this clarity, I create a life that is a grand life, a great life that has no space for worry and complaints, holding grudges. 100% guaranteed. This is the truth of each one and everyone. Each one is an invisible presence on a journey with a clear exit, guaranteed exit. It's just like we visit a zoo. We enter from one door and we look at all the amazing animals and plants and other visitors. And all along, I am looking at different animals, I'm taking pictures. All along, I'm clear that I have an exit. And so that entire journey is so happening. We have ambitions, we have plans, we have visions. There is curiosity in what to see next, what to do next. But it's an ambition without insecurity. This is a curiosity without desperation, without fear, without negativity. And we visit the zoo and we exit, very happily exit. No reason to cry, no reason to complain. It's obvious. There's an entry, there's an exit. And similarly, this is my attitude in this minute. This is my clear, 100% clear attitude. There's an entry, there's an exit. Everything in between is the journey. These are situations. And my life, my experience is not dependent on journey or situations. It's independent. Because how long can this all go for if I have an exit and there's nothing to complain or be bothered about? All the highs and lows, very thankful, very grateful. But nothing too serious, nothing too intense. Everything in between is a joke. In these 2 minutes, everything that happens is a joke. What someone says, what someone does, a joke. This invisible guest, he is conscious now. He has woken up. He's wide awake. And he has eyes of wonder. What people are saying and doing and behaving. It's all so wonderful to watch. How different people are, how different people behave. It's so wonderful to watch. I can afford to enjoy everything. I can afford to be light about absolutely everything. Function.